How much auto layout do you need to use as a UX or product designer? It's a hot topic within the design community with many different opinions. Some designers say you need to use auto layout all the time. If you don't, you're a terrible designer. On the other hand, some designers say you don't need to use auto layout at all. It slows you down and it hurts creativity. So which one is true? It's hard to say with so many different opinions. And in this 5-minute FigJam fix, we're going to figure out the actual answer to this question. Let's take a closer look. In this overview, you can see that it's not a question of yes or no for auto layout, but it's more a question of how much auto layout should you use. You should use auto layout all the time, but not as much as you might think, or not as much as some people claim. And how much auto layout you need to use depends on how far along you are in your design process. If you are really early stage, where the project requirements are unclear, you need to use less auto layout than when everything's super clear and all you need to do is create the final few screens for your design. And that's because in the beginning, when you need to figure out user flows, user pain points, and do a lot of research, there's a lot of creativity needed, and making everything rigid within auto layout will actually slow you down. It's a lot of detaching of components and creating variations, and setting up auto layout is a waste of time here. Only use the minimum of auto layout here. More on that later. But when everything's super clear, you can use auto layout as much as you want, and that's because it directly translates to how developers use CSS with margins and paddings and stuff like that. So if you use a lot of auto layout here, it will make you a more developer-friendly designer, which is always a good thing. So if we take a look at some of the most commonly used components with auto layout: buttons, input fields, forms, headers, and footers, you can see that you can best use buttons and maybe input fields in the beginning stages of your project. And that's because they require less creativity than some other components. There's no need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to input fields. Those have been designed a million times before, but forms, the header and the footer, is something you can create separately for each project. So only use those two in auto layout later on in your project. And that's basically it. So again, it's not a matter of yes or no, it's a matter of how much. And there are, of course, more components you can use here. If you feel like there's a component missing that needs to use auto layout, or maybe it doesn't need to use auto layout, let us know in the comments and we can update this FigJam file. And also, if you want to take a look at this FigJam file and some of the other 5-minute FigJam fixes we've done before, you can find a link to this free file in the comments below. Go use auto layout, but really think it through how much makes sense for your project.